most guys have that thing of like, you discover something, you know what I mean? And it's kind of like, man, if only everybody knew what I was feeling, you know what I mean? This is like my secret, but come to find out, it's just a natural progression. And yeah, I mean, I'm sure we're in the same boat. I was beaten off to everything.
All right, guys, we got Dredd here today. He's in town for AVN.
That's
2
right.
years off, right?
Yes, sir.
What made you want to come back?
Well, not 2 years off, but 2 years from being at AVN. You know, last year, it's like you want to do it when you have something going on, right. and I was shooting exclusively for Jules Jordan, and so I've kind of been shooting my own thing now, and so I felt like, you know, I'm like right in the middle. And I didn't have anything to really push, so I, you know, I stayed away.
Makes sense. And now you got the Dredd dong, which is killing it.
The Dredd dong is here. It has taken the world by storm. So they told me. And the official Dredd XXX website is right around the corner, and I'm really happy about that.
Man,
yeah,
12 inches, right?
They say 14.
Damn.
Yeah. I know.
Holy crap.
They say 14, but I never say, you know, hey man, people run with it. They go, some people say it's 15 inches. I go, okay.
I remember hearing stories of someone who had the world record for the longest penis and he would pass out when he got hard.
Oh my God.
Have you heard of that?
I have not heard about that one. But you know what? Nowadays, guys are able to do things to their junk that they couldn't do before.
Right.
So I'm sure we're close to like, you know, the 20-incher.
Oh my God.
The 20-inch penis is around the corner. I know it is.
That's crazy, man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, anything past a foot is...
It's a little too much to deal with.
Yeah.
You know?
Because you got to do stuff. You got to walk around. You got to play sports.
Exactly. And it's not even so much just like the size. It's, you know, the rigidity. You know, because you could have a big size and it just kind of, you know, that accordion effect. it just falls out. So to have that, you know, that solid rigidity, that's important.
Yeah, man. Does it affect you like on a daily basis? Like, is it annoying?
You know what, man? I've never had an issue with it really. I mean, maybe on my hand, the amount of times.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah, a girl was like, I just can't do it. You know what I mean? But for the most part, you know, all my years in and all my years in the lifestyle, women were happy about it.
Right.
So, and people would ask me, man, that's got to be a problem, you know, and I'll joke around. And my joke is, you know, I can't wait to get that penis reduction surgery. You know what I mean? I'm tired of this thing. It's too big. It comes out of my shorts every time. I can't wear shorts. It's too heavy, you know.
You've never heard that?
Yeah, no, I'm only kidding with that.
Yeah.
You know.
Everyone wants to enhance, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, there's all
Right.
sorts of stuff you could try these days.
For sure.
Who knows if any of it works? You would know, probably.
I don't know. You know, look, I started in 2009, and I left in 2010, and I was gone for a few years because I just felt like it wasn't for me. You know, I was always a fan of and I enjoyed it. And like most guys, when you would watch it, you'd kind of go, you know what? I could do that. I could do that. Just put me in a room with this hot female. But, you know, once you get in that room and there are other factors working, other people in the room, the lights are sometimes extra bright. And whereas you thought you could do it, now the struggle begins. So I left and then I came back in 2015. So there are a small amount of people who think, while I was gone, I did this, you know, this surgery. You know, all of a sudden I got this super big dong, you know what I mean? And I'm like, no, that's not the case. No, I just didn't feel like it was for me at that time.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You're at a different point in your life, maybe.
You know, it was something that I thought I could do, and the nerves kicked in. I'm not gonna lie, and it was a struggle. You know, I'd be sitting there. You know, you walk in feeling great, and everybody says, "Oh, the man is here. Here we go." And you walk in, and the blood just isn't flowing. And now you're kind of like on that lifeboat,
Yeah.
You know, the SOS sign, you know, please. And the girl's kind of like looking at her watch and her phone. And I was like, this ain't for me, man. You know what I mean? Now, when I left, here's what the difference was. I got heavily involved in the lifestyle, the swinging lifestyle.
Got it.
And I got more comfortable being around people, being at parties, being at clubs, performing in front of people, so that now when I went back in 2015, I was like, let's go. Now I'm ready, you know?
You had the confidence.
Oh, I had it.
So that helped a lot.
And the hunger, the drive to succeed. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Did you see it as mainly as a means to make money, or how did you view it?
You know what? Good, excellent question, dude. That was, you know what? I wanted the fortune. I didn't really care so much for the fame. You know, I got in it a little bit later on in life, and I was just looking to make ends meet.
Yeah.
I had no idea things were going to turn into what it's turned into. Now, I'm not bitter about it. You know, I'm cool. I'm happy about it, but it's definitely not what I signed up for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it instant success? Like, where were the signs along the way? Because you came back in 2015. Like,
yep. Well, when I came back, there were people, because when I shot, I think maybe it was like 20 scenes in 2009. And I shot for a pretty known studio down in Miami. So there were people when I came back who remembered me, you know, who said, oh man, he's back. Where's he been? Okay, well, good to see him again. And again, I had that hunger, and things were just totally different. And so that was the main change, you know what I mean? But thankfully there were people, like, my name was still there, you know? Yeah.
wow. So it was kind of like you eased right into it type of thing?
Eased right into it, and things just started happening from there. Like, I started back up again with those same guys. And then it was really just like a word of mouth thing. You know, I shot with a girl for them who said, you know what? I know these guys in LA. They would love to shoot you. Okay, fine. Tell them, you know? So that, she passed that along. Then I started flying out, because I was living in Miami at the time. So I started flying out, doing the back and forth thing to LA. And each time just really trying to make a statement, you know? That was my thing at the time, was like, every scene that I shot, I put a lot into, you know what I mean? And I think it showed, and one thing just led to the next. And then the next thing you know it, I've got an exclusive deal with Jules Jordan, and I was exclusive with him for like 7 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well done.
6 or 7 years.
There's something there, man, because standing out as a male in this industry is really hard, because a lot of guys can name females.
Yeah, for
know?
sure. Well, you know what, man? Look, when I shoot my own stuff, I really like to take the back seat and put the emphasis on the girl, because when I watch for the girl. You know what I mean? That's it. As long as the guy kind of could do his job, I wasn't big. So the fact that I've got this fan base of people who are into me, I'm very appreciative of it, you know, and I'm really humbled by that. Because again, it's a girl's thing,
right?
You know, and I know there are a lot of guys who feel like, you know, because they have a name, they should be front and center. I never looked at it that way, so I always want to put the emphasis on the girl.
That's respect, man. That's how I treat my podcast too.
There you go.
Emphasis is always on the guest.
That's it. Well, I think once you start making it, and not just the podcast, but I think this applies for anything. Once you start making it more about yourself, you know, it could kind of change things.
I think so, yeah, because then ego starts getting in the way.
For sure.
Yeah,
100%.
You sound like you really balanced ego and confidence.
Yeah, man, I'm humble. I mean, I'm a guy, like I said, just happy to be in this position of where, you know, it's, hey, we want Dredd, you know what I mean? And I love that. Again, not what I signed up for, but I've embraced it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What was that inspiration for the swinger lifestyle? Was that something you witnessed growing up, or how did that come about?
You know what, man? That it came at the right time. And I mean that because I was kind of like, well, so much for the thing that didn't work out. But then a girl I knew, she said, you know what? You do really well in the lifestyle. And I said, well, what is that? You know, couples, you meet couples. I said, well, you know, I'm not gay. You know, I'm not doing gay stuff. No, it's not that. The husbands usually just want to watch and kind of. So I was like, I don't know, man. I wasn't sure about it. And then I tried it. And man, it was like learning to ride a bike. You know what I mean? Once you get it, you know, you got it, you never forget it. And it just became a thing for like a decade. I did that, you know, being flown out to different parts of the country just for the sole purpose of.
Wow. So people would fly you out for that?
Oh man, I've flown out to places. A guy like me in Skokie, Illinois, something's going on there. But I would go to these places, man, and all revolving around. Now, it wasn't just And I was just thinking about the lifestyle, which is one of the things I miss, was it wasn't just the sexual aspect. It was getting to know just different people from different, walks of life, who all had this common denominator of sex.
Interesting.
Yeah, those are some of my best times. I have people to this day who ask me, who know about my involvement in the lifestyle, man, what's better, the super hot star or the hot wife? And on the outside, I go, it's a tough question. But on the inside, I'm like, that's a no-brainer, because in the lifestyle, a lot of times, these are situations where there were couples where it would just be them. And now, maybe they're empty nesters, the kids moved out, they want to explore, expand on their sexuality. So these are women who have this pent-up sexual energy that it's hard to match against, your hot porn star where we're trying to just shoot a great scene, and the chemistry could be great and all that, but it's two different things.
It's more cutthroat. It's more business-minded, right?
100%.
Yeah. I actually did want to ask you that. Like, how do you view do you think there's a spiritual/emotional connection in the artist?
You know what? I think there is, and I think that can be achieved while you're shooting too, because I don't want anyone to think, it's just this choreographed thing. I mean, yeah, there's, okay, do this, do that. But during that, you try to develop something with who you're shooting with, where you just kind of meet right here. And that's what I think makes the scene. Now, a lot of times it's lopsided, but I think once you find that common point with porn, I think that sexual energy you're talking about is there.
Yeah.
It can be achieved.
I'm a big believer in it, man.
For sure.
I just feel like the is better if there's that emotional connection, personally.
Oh, yeah, for sure. There's no doubt. Yeah.
And you experienced that with the swinger stuff, it sounds like.
I experienced it so many times, man. Again, I've seen just the joy. Because, a lot of times the boyfriends and the husbands, they just want to see their better half having a pleasurable time.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I've seen that so many times. And it's just, it's an all around good feeling. You may think on the surface, you go, oh no, man, that's not for me. I could never see my woman. But I'm telling you, a lot of times it's like a guy, maybe an older guy who's got this younger trophy wife, and he's just like, hey, I can't really keep up with her. So I respect that,
I could see it. You have with the same person like thousands of times. Eventually it gets a little boring, You want to spice it up a bit.
For sure.
Yeah, bring some new energy in there. That's cool, man.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a lifestyle.
Dude, that was some of the best experiences I've had I'm telling you, in my life. And I was in Miami at that time. So Miami being a very desirable place, a lot of times people from outside of the country, hey, we're coming in to Miami. My wife really likes you. What do you, okay, sure. You're right.
Can't turn that down.
As easy as that.
Yeah. Wow, that's fascinating, man.
Yeah, man.
That's
Good
cool.
stuff.
Would you still do that these days, or you're kind of more laid back?
I'm glad you asked me that because I get a lot of emails and messages from husbands and boyfriends who think that's still in my bag. Yeah. And I'm like, you know what? I'm sorry. Your wife looks beautiful, but
you hung it up.
I'm just not the guy anymore. Yeah, no, I cut it out.
Was it a specific moment that caused that decision?
Once I started to get more active in, once the became more of a thing, especially when I started shooting my own stuff, I just didn't have the time. You know what I mean? Maybe if I was still in my 20s, I could be that guy, but now I'm more focused on what really matters the most. And shooting is what matters the most for me. Yeah.
Do you think your drive died down a little bit too since your 20s?
You know what? I get asked that often, and no. But I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to give you a good analogy, if you will.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're a big sports fan.
I am.
Okay, Michael Jordan. When he first started, he was a high flyer. He was dunking on everybody. He was making all these wild shots. As he got older, his game transitioned from high flyer to mid-range assassin.
Yeah.
So now I'm like a mid-range assassin.
God.
I'm not the high flyer anymore, but I could still kill you, you know what I mean? But it's just more mid-range, more of a savvy. But I feel, and from what the fans tell me, I still always try to deliver high energy. I always try to bring that no matter what. And no, I feel like that has not decreased at all.
Well done.
Yeah,
because you hear guys in their 30s, 40s saying they lost the stuff.
Yeah, no, and I get it. It's really normal. But I think if you have that thing, that sexual, like I discovered at way too of an early age, 7 years old.
What?
7 years old is when I discovered my father's stash.
Wow.
And I never got what I saw in his box. This wasn't no Playboy or Hustler. This was like some wild shit from, and I was like, damn, Pops, how are you, how are you getting this? But anyway, it just had an effect on me that stuck with me. And it created this sexual, this thing that I still have to this day.
Holy crap.
Yeah, I never, when I shoot a scene, bro, I'm telling you, I swear to you, I never look at it like, oh, man, I got to shoot this. I got to shoot this scene today. All right, here we go. No, I look at every scene. I always get up for it. I get excited like it's the first one, and I still got that.
That mindset's important, right?
Gotta have that.
In anything you do, not just but
for
just,
sure.
Yeah, all aspects of life.
But, I'm also careful now because, you can, too much of one thing can be a bad thing,
right.
Even something as great as sex. So I've never been a shoot every day kind of guy. So I try to, shoot, rest up, recharge so that I'm fresh for,
Did you ever struggle with that addiction with like a addiction or addiction?
Well, I wouldn't say I struggled with it, but I had it. I was a huge fan of before I got into it.
Yeah.
Massive. And so it's funny because Christy Canyon, okay? Christy Canyon, who's a legend in the industry, and she's someone I used to crush on in the 80s, back in like 89. And so I always loved Christy Canyon. What's not to like? Those huge natural, you know what I mean? And she's just beautiful. And here it is, decades later, I get hit up by Christy.
No way.
And now she hadn't shot, and she told me, she said, I haven't shot in like 20 years, but she said, my fans keep telling me, I got to work with you. And so I was like, yeah. You know what I mean? I was like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, but damn, that was like decades ago. Let me make sure I'm signing up for, And no, she's still great, still looks fantastic. And so Christy Canyon, when I did shoot with her, that really was like a dream scenario.
Oh, I love that.
Couldn't believe it, man.
Your dreams came true.
For sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't discover it till I was in high school.
Okay. Right.
15 years old. So you discovered it at 7. Wow. That's first grade, man.
So so who was there anyone in particular like that you were big on?
Back then it was Riley Reid.
Okay. I shot with her.
Yeah. And I think Lana Rhodes was big around.
I shot with her.
Yeah.
A couple times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But 15, discovered it on accident.
Okay.
Yeah.
How'd that happen?
I just started masturbating on accident.
Gotcha.
I didn't even know what it was.
Right.
Isn't that crazy? Right. You were in the same boat?
Of course. I think most guys have that thing of like, you discover something. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like, man, if only everybody knew what I was feeling. You know what I mean? This is like my secret. But come to find out, it's just a natural progression. And I'm sure we're in the same boat. I was beating off to everything.
I remember telling my friends the next day, like, yo, I discovered. They're like, dude, I knew that 4 years ago. Like, what are you talking about?
Right. Yeah.
Like 10, 11 years old.
For sure.
Crazy, man.
Yeah.
But now it's everywhere. I mean, it's unavoidable with social media.
Yeah. I mean, back in the day, like when I was younger and porn was very hard to get access to.
Yeah, just magazines, right?
It was magazines. And then when the VHS, when that whole thing came along, you would go to like a video store just to whether you wanted to rent, Purple Rain or whatever back in the day. And you'd be like, hey, where's the adult section? Oh, it's back there in the corner. There's a curtain in front of it. You walk in. Is there an anal section? Oh, yeah, that's the last rack. Last rack. Now, look at it. It's so accessible. Anal's like a big thing.
Yeah.
Anal's a huge thing now. I shoot a lot of anal. But back then, so my whole thing is that now, I mean, it's as big. It's bigger now than ever.
Yeah. I mean, it's everywhere. You go on Twitter, you go on Instagram, any platform. There's some soft there.
Can't get away from it.
And they funnel you into their OF now.
For sure.
Yeah. And that's, you shoot your own content now, right?
Yeah, I'm shooting my own stuff and it's been going well. It's taken off. I'm really, really happy about it. It's a unique style that I shoot. Some people will critique it and go, I shoot too close. But I like that because it separates my stuff from what everybody else is doing. And again, put the emphasis on the girl. If you got some great action, a great setting, great aesthetic, You can't go wrong with that. Yeah.
What content do you get asked to shoot the most?
Anal.
Anal, really?
Anal's the thing. And look, for me, I'm like, sometimes I wake up and I'm like, man, what did I do to deserve this life? When I'll look at emails and a girl will say, look, I've been training my ass for you. And I'm just like, okay, I love that. You know what I mean? And I think I could do it. And I'm just like, okay. And I'm open to give. I mean, I've shot with a lot of girls who are like new, fresh out the gate, and they want to come out strong and make a name for themselves. And so I'm all in, you know?
Wow.
Yeah, she's good enough looking and all that stuff. And let's go. Let's do it.
How does one train their ass for that?
A lot of stretching.
Stretching? How do you even, like, actually stretching the whole part, I guess?
Yeah, stretching the whole part. I think, training with larger size dildos. See, now that the official dong is out there, because they'd say, well, what could I do to train? And I had nothing to, well, just use your largest size toy.
Yeah.
But now the thing is, get the dong, because the dong is accurate. Look, the length is exaggerated, I'll be honest about that. But the girth and the shape is exact.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because they took a mold, right?
It's a mold. Yeah. And that's a whole process where I didn't even know anything about it, but you put it in this big bowl and somebody's whipping up the batter like witch's brew, and they take it and pour it on there, and you have to maintain an erection through all that.
For how long?
I would say about maybe 5 or 10 minutes.
That's actually long though on your own.
Yeah.
Because you're not allowed to touch it. So it's actually
not allowed to touch it. You got to stand there and they're pouring this stuff on your junk. Now the good thing is it goes fast.
Yeah.
So, and even if you start to lose it, once they get it, you're good.
Got it.
You just have to be strong when they pour that stuff.
So did you have nude girls around you while you were doing it to keep you?
It was all mental. You know what I had to do that day, dude? I had to take it back to like when I was a kid, where there were no visuals and I was just in my mind, like think of, a teacher, a hot teacher I had, you know what I mean? And she told me to stay after one day and we started f***ing around. So I really had to go into the mental bag and just kind of get there.
Wow.
And
You had to lock in.
Had to lock in.
Sometimes you have to do that though, right? During scenes.
Yeah, you do. And that's one thing about this that's why when we were talking about it earlier, you really got to try to establish some kind of a rapport or hopefully, like I was never big on, like if you show up on set and the male talent goes this way, the female goes that way. And then when you come out, here we go. I always like to try to, hey, how's it going? Hey, I've been looking forward to, just to get something going,
right?
And that helps. As far with me, that helps a lot.
Add that personal touch.
For sure.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Are you a fan of any toys? Like, I want to hear your opinion on some of these, like the fleshlights or anything like that.
I'm not particularly, I'm not going to say I'm particularly a fan of any of them. But I mean, I've shot with girls who, let's say if we're shooting an anal scene, say, hey, you mind if I just use this on myself while you're in? No problem. And it could be anything, some of those little stimulating, I can't remember what you call those things, or it could just be
the butt plug.
Yeah, something along those lines, or the wand, the Hitachi.
I haven't heard of that one.
Never heard that one?
No.
The Hitachi.
Is that a vibrator or something?
Yeah, it's like a long kind of vibrating thing, and so they say it helps the cause. So I'm not personally. I'm not. There isn't a toy that. Maybe those beads. I remember back in the day, the anal beads used to be a thing.
Yeah.
But it's not really a thing anymore.
I don't see too many people.
Don't see that anymore.
Yeah. I tried the auto blow when I was in like college.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like that one.
Oh, really?
Have you tried that one?
I've not tried that one.
Yeah, it didn't feel that good.
Really?
Know. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They're probably better by now.
Right.
They're coming out with all these robots and.
Oh, man. That's scary, dude. Have you been seeing some of that stuff?
I've been seeing them.
Bro, I'm from the days where the doll was just like, with the mouth open wide, you know what I mean? And you sit there and you carry it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now, I just saw something the other day. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. The facial expressions, skin feels so, body, movement, and I'm like, wow, yeah, we finally got to that place, man.
Damn.
Where, technology is a beast, man.
I mean, there's a lot of people struggling to get laid these days.
I know. And this is going to help. This is going directly at that group, you know what I mean, of guys who just have there's no hope anymore. So one of these install, and they talk to you different languages. I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
Couldn't believe it.
I'm telling you, I saw it just the other day.
I know what you're talking about though, because my dad had the original one where it's just like it's heavy, man. You
Right.
gotta carry it upstairs.
Yeah,
It's like,
and it's
dude.
expressionless, and it's just got the mouth wide open with the eyes popped open wide. And I'm like, who wants to mess with that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, he got it. He was pumped to show me it. I'm like, this is whack.
Yeah,
You know?
man. No, yeah,
From China.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but who knows what the future will be. I've heard 40% of like young guys are virgins these days.
It's tough, dude. I mean, look, the whole thing, what's that called? The VR,
Yeah, virtual reality.
virtual reality. I was not that familiar with it, right? And I bought I think the one I got was Oculus. And I just got it because people were, I kept seeing people, having these reactions while they had it on. So I was like, I want to see what this is about. So I got it. And I didn't really mess around with it. But then one day, something came over me, and I said, let me see what this VR is. As soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, man, yeah.
It was that good?
Oh, dude, it's like you're right there with
Wow.
them. Yeah, and the way it's shot. Like, again, I've never shot VR porn. I've never done it. But I've seen it. It's like you're in the room. It's a very almost like intimate kind of setting. And you look up, and you're in that room. So for guys where there's no hope, they'll be sitting there watching this all day, all night.
I could see that, man.
Yeah.
How did the rise of OF affect your business? Did it take a toll?
Game changer for me. And look, it's for me personally. I was at that time like, I need to start generating some income.
Right.
I mean, and what I was making shooting was fine, but I wanted more. And so I had fans going, when are you going to start this OnlyFans thing? This was 2018. And I remember at the time, I was dismissive of it. I was like, man, that. I don't got time for that. Content creator, I'm not that guy. I go on set and shoot. Forget that.
Yeah.
And they kept asking, man, you got to do this OnlyFans thing. You can make all this money. So that went on for like 6 months. And then finally one day I was hanging out with this girl, and she said, you do this OnlyFans thing? And I said, no. I said, do you do? She's like, no. She's like, but I just started one. I was like, me too. It's like, you want to do? I said, okay, we'll do a little something. And we just propped up a camera, and put it in the corner, and we just started doing some stuff. And I remember I posted it, and I looked at the phone, and I was like, yeah, just like I thought. This is nothing. And then I did it again. And I was like, what a freaking waste of time. I'm giving up. I don't need this. And then it caught on. And this was right before COVID. And I remember going, I kept looking at it, and it kept going up and going up and going up. And I was like, whoa, this is a game changer right here. And then it got to a point where it was doing so good. I said, you know what? I'm going to turn this into something.
Yeah.
I'm going to start putting money back into it, which is why when I shoot, like I want it to be a really nice quality production. So whether it's hair and makeup, whether it's not so much a location, I got that covered. But I started just putting money back into it because like I wanted to make it as big as possible. And so that just like, man, that's huge for me.
Yeah, the timing was great because pandemic, everyone was inside.
Exactly. And I'm sure with most people, when the pandemic came, the numbers skyrocketed. And I think it kind of, afterwards, it kind of levels out a little.
Yeah.
But I'm thankful that I've had, and I still have, like true fans who are like, look, dude, we're with you no matter what, And I'm just like, wow, man, I really apprionaply that.
I love that.
Yeah.
Is your fan base mainly women or is it male?
Great question, man. It's and people ask me that, and it honestly is a little bit of everything. I don't really have a lot of gay. I'm sure I do have a lot of gay fans, but not because I don't do anything to cater there. Like a lot. One thing that people are big on with OnlyFans are like customs.
Yeah,
and I've had a lot of guys going, man, can you just jerk off and say my girlfriend's name a few times? What's your price? And I'm like, I don't have a price, dude. I don't really do that. I've never done that, but I get asked about that all the time. The solo. I think I've done a solo 1 or 2 times.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you don't like solos?
I just don't, I want to just give them the complete package, which is how I run it. Scenes, clips from scenes. I just don't. Like I said, I've done it maybe a solo like 1 or 2 times. It's just not my thing.
Yeah. What's the most you've been offered money wise for something?
Oh man, sky's the limit.
Yeah.
Sky's the limit. Yeah. nothing like, I mean, I'm not talking any ridiculous amounts like $500,000 or anything, but like, $5,000-$10,000 to just jerk off and just say either their wife or their girlfriend's name, bust a load to them, and away we go.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've heard some crazy offers to some females.
Oh, the females get it like there's no tomorrow, man.
Dude, I've heard of some being flown out to Dubai, on people's chest,
100%,
making 25 grand doing that.
Jesus Christ.
Isn't that nuts?
Yeah, man. No, that's the world we're in. That's the world we're in now. We're there. We're not on our way there. We have officially arrived.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing probably phases you at this point, though.
Nah. I've kind of seen it all. I mean, some things do still surprise me when I see certain content that people are big on.
Yeah.
Whether it's like, puking.
Puking?
Throwing up. Yeah, that's a thing.
Whoa.
The throwing up thing. I don't get it, but there is demand for it. I don't get asked about it because people know I don't do that. But when I see things like that, I'm like, wow, we're really taking it someplace we've never gone before. You know what I mean? So the puking, the like you said, the crapping and all that kind of stuff. So but we're here.
Yeah. Because you've been in it for what, 20 years now?
I started in 2009.
2009, so 19, 29, about 20 years, right?
So, I mean, it's something like, I don't, but it's deceptive because, again, I took that break.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know I took that break. So they, Dredd's the OG, man. He's been in this forever. When I'm like, well, in reality, when you really total up the amount of years I've been doing it, it's not that long, but still, 10, 15 years, something like that.
Have you seen like what goes viral change frequently, or is it kind of consistent for the most part?
I'm going to tell you something, man. I don't, if somebody I'm shooting with and if it goes and it gets a lot of clicks and all that, and fine. I don't aim to do that because I feel like now you're going to be in a constant vacuum of like, okay, now what could I do?
Right.
Now, how could I top that? You know what I mean? So I'm the type to rather just keep it a steady flow of like, okay, we know his stuff's going to be good. It's going to be solid. But again, if that happens, if the viral stuff, that's fine. I'm obviously not against it. But I just feel like for me, I rather just keep it like even keel.
Yeah.
Because I just don't want to feel like, well, now what do I have to do? How am I going to top that?
That's actually so smart because you see that issue with social media people where they're constantly thinking of crazier ideas to do, and then they end up in a car crash or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've been seeing a lot of that kind of stuff lately, man. And it's like, look, we got to ease up a little bit. You know what I mean? Is it worth your life? You know what I mean? Is it worth dying over? So, but I don't know. I mean, again, just like it's changed my life, I'm sure it's changing so many people's lives,
Absolutely.
Would
you ever go a podcast route or some other form of content?
I've thought about it. I've definitely been giving it more so lately, giving it more consideration. So I've entertained that.
Yeah, you got a great personality for it.
People tell me, man, that, when I was way back in the day, when I was in college, my major was communications, and I was like, I want to do something. People would say, you got to do something with that voice. You know what I mean? Yeah. That voice is just so, and I was like, okay, but that didn't work out. And so here we are in a day and age where podcasts have become like a huge thing. And so I'm like, well, maybe this could be my calling now, because look, I'm not going to be, pumping out content for, I got a cutoff plan. My cutoff plan is probably like 60.
Okay.
Get to 60. You say it was a good run, and then now it's time to, transition into something else. And podcasting could be it.
Yeah. It's cool to see you plan that far ahead, actually.
Yeah, man.
When you first started, there was a lot of shame around the industry, right?
Absolutely.
A lot of guilt.
A lot. And I think it's still there to a degree. But back then was like, it's so much more accepted now.
Yeah.
Back then it was like this, like a dirty thing.
I was scared to even tell people I watched it back then.
Because people would be, critical of you. They'd be like, all right, what the hell are you doing? And I didn't want to hear that. I'm like, I'm just having fun. You know what I mean? So, but we've gotten out of that place. And that's, I think, just thanks to, because it's just been just like a barrage. The floodgates have officially been opened. You know what I mean? You've got there's people wanting to shoot, there's content creators from all different makeups and different ages when it comes to the work. You know, you've got people who were formerly teachers and doctors and EMTs who have now decided, you know what, I want to make more money. I want to be able to support my family, and doing what I was doing previously wasn't cutting it. So now I'm doing this, and you know what? I don't care what people think. So I think we've gotten so much of that now it's become way more accepted, man. And so I think what I'm getting at is that now is like the best time. If you work, content creation, whatever it is, now is the time to kind of spread your wings and kind of get into that.
Similar with video games too. There was a lot of shame playing those growing up, and now people are making a living off video games. I remember parents used to like yell at kids. I used to get yelled at for playing, you know. But now it's like, go play some video games.
For sure.
Make a living.
Making money.
Streaming, man.
Yeah.
Streaming. The streamers are making the most right now.
Oh, yeah. No, man. I know it. I know. I actually did... I did a little bit of Aiden Ross.
Oh, nice.
I went on there for a little
bit.
It was brief. It was during the period where, first I was opposed to it at first, but it was during the period where Adam 22, and Lena and Jason thing, you know, and so they were on his stream. So the gag was for me to, you know, go on and kind of, hey, I'm next.
That's funny.
They're like, you know, Aiden, okay, we got somebody who's coming on right now, and he's, you know, so the thing was for me to come on, hey, listen, I'm ready, let's do it. It never happened, you know, but yeah, and I didn't know, because I didn't even know. I was like, what is this streaming thing?
Yeah.
But now I know.
Well, I will say this about Adam. He's breaking these stigmas, you know?
Yeah.
Because he got a lot of hate on that one, but he made a ton of money.
I'm sure he did.
I mean, there's rumors of 5 million floating around.
No.
So. Yeah. Crazy, right?
Yeah. A lot of people were asking for it, but I from what I know of Lena, I think I'm a little bit too much for her. You know what I mean?
So?
I know so. 100%. Yeah.
If she struggled with Jason, you might.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, and I had this vision. My vision was like, yeah, listen, man, if I was to do this, I'd have them both come over and we would shoot and have Adam there to kind of sitting in. Because I mean, if that was the direction of like, I don't want to say, because he's not, that whole cuck thing, you know?
Say that, yeah.
So it was just like a funny comedic thing in my mind, like where I was like, if this ever gets legs and if this ever happens, that would be my vision, but it never.
We'll see. Don't rule it out completely.
I'm not going to rule it out, but you know.
She could train her ass like we talked about.
She could train it, yeah. She could start training it, shoving big things up there, you know.
You don't do male stuff though anyways, right?
Never did.
So 3 ways off the table.
You know what? When I was in the lifestyle, there was a friend of mine, a guy, and he was a tall, big guy like me, and we would go and just wreak havoc together. You know what I mean? And it was never a thing. I mean, I'm not homophobic in any way, but there are people who have said, because I haven't shot porn with another guy, like, hey, what's Dredd's, you know, hang up with that? It's no hang up. I've done it. I've been there, and I would rather, now that I'm in a position that I'm in, to just shoot just me and the girl. Yeah. You know what I mean? It almost happened. I almost shot with another guy a couple years ago, but that it didn't go.
What happened?
I was kind of on the fence about it, and the guy who was going to do it was kind of on the fence about it. So that equaled the who was going to shoot it. In his mind, that equaled, this isn't a good idea. Yeah. Because I wasn't gung ho. I was kind of like, if you want me to, you know, I've done it before, you know. And the other guy was the same way, so it just didn't work out.
Would probably affect the performance, right? Because then you're in your own head.
It could, but again, I've done it. I would rather, my whole career has revolved around just me, Dredd, Brett, the brand, everybody I've shot for. It's always been me being featured, you know. And so I, in my mind, felt like, you know, shooting with somebody else, I'm not going to say I felt like it would taint it, but I was just never really up for it.
I know what you mean, yeah. Do you know how many views you're at now? It's in the billions, right? It's got to be something crazy.
Oh, like on
like overall, yeah.
It's got to be. I mean, on I think Angela White, what I shot with her was probably like 25 million views. We won an award for that.
Just on that one video?
Just on that one.
Holy crap.
Kiss of Sins, the content I shot with her, I think is like 30 million or something crazy like that. So yeah, and girls that, you know, they want to put the content on there. And I'm happy, you know, that it does as well as it does, which is cool. But yeah, I would say it's pretty much up there.
That's nuts. And now certain states are banning it. Have you seen that?
That's what I've been hearing.
Yeah, so the views probably won't be as good as they used to be.
Probably not. I mean, I think everybody's kind of, you know, waiting on the edge of their seat to see. I think there is going to be something coming our way that content creators and workers are not going to like. I think it's going to happen. I don't know if you know to what degree, but I think they're going to try to crack down and really go after whether it's OnlyFans or whatever. I just got a feeling something's coming.
Really?
Yeah.
That's not good because you've seen a lot in this space. So the fact that your gut's telling you that.
My gut's telling me something, and I don't know if it's because of, you know, like what you just mentioned, is now like you can't watch it in certain state, you know what I mean? So when I first saw that, I was like, oh man, you know, that's, you know, something's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know what form it's going to come in, but I feel an attack is imminent.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's scary. Well, there's always been so much hate thrown towards the OF creators in particular. Sure. Mm-hmm. I mean, you go on any post, the comments are hating on these girls. It's like, it's actually wild.
You know what, man? I'm pro. Go do your thing. You know what I mean? If it's something that's going to change your life for the better, why not? You know what I mean? Okay, so some people could go, well, sex and, you know, you shouldn't be doing that from a moral. Screw moral. You know, we just got through this pandemic. People are hurting right now. And if there's a street to go down for women specifically to do better, you know, much better financially, go for it.
Yeah.
That's why do your thing.
Absolutely. Did you ever get heat like that? Like any hate comments or?
No, man, I've never, it's always been, I mean, they love it. My fans, they, I really don't get a lot of negative, you know, I don't get a lot of negativity coming my way for anything, you know, but, I see some people who do, and all you can do is shake your head.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I think as a guy, it's different, right?
Very much so. I mean, there are guys, I mean, myself, other guys, you know, big name guys who are doing really well. And, but for the most part, again, it's a woman's thing. It's a female's thing.
Yeah. You don't film every day, you said, right?
No, not every day. Never been an everyday guy. I try to, ideally for me, 2 or 3 times a week is ideal. You know, give me a couple days to kind of recharge, you know what I mean? And I'm good to go.
Wow. So you're having more off camera then.
You know something, man? I'm going to reveal, and I've revealed this before. I don't have a lot of off camera.
What?
Yeah, no, I don't. I used to be that guy, but now I'm more like with the content, with what I'm shooting, and I'll have set, but it's nowhere near what people may think.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah, no.
Well done, man. Mm-hmm. Well, dude, this has been awesome. I can't wait to see what you do next. I really do think you should start a pod, dude. I think you'll crush it.
You know what, man? It's something I'm going to seriously look into, give it some serious consideration. And people have told me, so I may just ride that wave and start doing it.
Yeah. I mean, shout out to our mutual friend, Ryan Pownall.
Ryan, yeah.
He's crushing it. So
Yeah, for sure. I just was on it maybe a week or 2 ago.
I saw that, yeah. I mean, if he can give you some guidance, I'm sure you'll kill it.
Yeah, man, for sure.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on, man. And,
I appreciate it.
We'll link your social media handles. Yeah.
Okay. My handles, that would be just Dredd XXX on X, formerly Twitter. OnlyFans, same thing, Dredd XXX. And watch out for the official DreddX website, which should be launching in early March.
Link it below. Thanks for hopping on.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
See you guys.
Yep.